the 25th Infantry Scout Dog Platoon. Most of the animal population here are police dogs. They live in kennels constructed from salvaged lumber by the soldiers of the 25th. There is a regular course of instruction in this canine college, very small classes, one professor to each student. We watch the duo go through their paces, over hurdles at a fast clip. Whoops, try it again. These animals have been carefully selected, and they'll be able to perform a variety of military duties after they've graduated. They'll be principally used, however, for guard duty. This is an assault problem we're watching now, and it's most important that the dog does not give away his position by making noise. So he has two things to remember: staying clear of the barbed wire and keeping silent while working towards the objective. They run through the obstacle course over and over again. Here's the way they are taught to protect against intruders. At a signal, he's back to the trainer. Another problem: the trainer goes forward to search a prisoner. The dog is especially trained to respond to this kind of situation. Obedience is most important, and problems are repeated until there's no chance of a slip-up under real conditions. But there's another animal in the spotlight at this installation: an old-timer. The lowly mule ranks high in importance in certain types of military situations. And at Camp Hale, a sub-post of Camp Carson, situated 150 miles up into the mountains, the mule is king. The only mules still in Army service in the United States are trained right here by personnel of the 4th Field Artillery and 35th Quartermaster Pack Units. We are watching some of them now as they are preparing to move out on a practice maneuver. They start a long trek up into the mountains. Training here is conducted at altitudes of 10 to 12,000 feet. That's more than 2 miles high, and the temperatures drop to as low as 60 degrees below zero. The 75mm howitzer is assembled and prepared for firing. The mule is not yet an outmoded instrument of warfare. It is trained to carry ammunition and supplies in rugged mountain areas in support of the mountain troops. Its value was demonstrated in the recent Korean conflict when it was able to move in over terrain that was just too tough for anything on wheels. But let's see how our mountain troops are being developed by the Cold Weather Training Command here at Camp Hale. New men are taught skiing and how to live out of doors in sub-zero temperatures. For most of them, it is a new experience. In 3 weeks, however, they are expected to handle themselves with some degree of skill and be ready to become members of smaller classes which devote a full 8-hour day to learning tactical maneuvers while aboard those slippery hickory sticks. You can see the difference in the many stages of training by the ease with which a soldier has learned to adapt snow and ice to his speedy advantage. This group is a bit more advanced, and they are pulled out to a nearby slope by a weasel. Training goes on in all kinds of weather, and scientifically designed winter clothing, modern equipment, and training methods all assure these men of protection from bitter cold, storms, and other hazards. This is where our story of 5th Army will end, at one of the highest inhabited spots in America, where soldiers are training to defend our freedoms. This is Lieutenant John Mortimer, we're going to pack up the big picture camera and be on our way across the Continental Divide to bring you the highlights of 6th Army.
Well, that's the story of 5th Army. We've seen and heard many of its soldiers who are helping to keep it functioning at the peak of efficiency. Next week, the big picture camera will swing to the Pacific coast, where we will inspect the principal units and installations of 6th Army. This is Sergeant Stuart Queen, inviting you to tune in next week for another look at your Army in action on the big picture.
The Big Picture is a weekly television report to the nation on the activities of the Army at home and overseas. Produced by the Signal Corps Pictorial Center. Presented by the U.S. Army in cooperation with this station. You can be an important part of the Big Picture. You can proudly serve with the best equipped, the best trained, the best fighting team in the world today, the United States Army.